Regular meeting of the Delta County Commissioners is being held. A regular meeting of the Delta County Commissioners is being held this date pursuant to the following call. In a letter to the Commissioners dated March 14, 2014, and reading as follows. The Honorable Members of the Delta County Board of Commissioners. Dear Commissioners, a regular meeting of the Delta County Board of Commissioners is scheduled for Tuesday, March 19, 2024 at 5:15 p.m. in the conference room at the Delta County Service Center. Sincerely yours, Nancy Presrocki, Delta County Clerk. Please rise for a word of prayer. Lord, as we begin this meeting, we are thankful for our many blessings. We ask for guidance to help our commissioners make decisions in the best interest of the citizens of our county, and we pray for the safety of our military men and women. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Commissioner Melner?
Here.
Commissioner View?
Here.
Commissioner Barron?
Here.
Commissioner Moyle?
Here.
And Commissioner Peterson?
Here. Our meeting will now come to order. Thank you for joining us tonight, making us a part of your evening. We have some housekeeping issues. Just receiving a general order now to please request to stay in order at the meeting. We had some interjecting in during the last meeting, and I really don't want to argue with you guys, or anybody for that matter. I just issue one warning, and then you've already had one. Please, I understand it's a passionate business, but be respectful of the procedure. All right, very well. We have approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. That was 35 of 2004.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Melner.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Barron. Additional discussion, please. All right, in favor of passing that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that would pass. All right, we have the agenda. Is there any additions to come before the agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll support.
Moved by Commissioner Melner, supported by Commissioner View. Additional discussion? All those in favor of accepting as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we have presentation of written communications, communications received, communications forwarded. Ashley, do you have any?
None.
Do you want that read into the? Do you want that email read into the record?
Yes.
Okay.
The three of the board members, Commissioner Moyle, Commissioner Peterson, and myself, received an email, a death threat. Here be 2 weeks this Friday. Our administration already has the copies of that. I'd like to have those placed into the record.
Support.
Okay, you have a motion, you have support, additional discussion? All of those?
Well, wait a second.
All right.
Can I have a copy of what we're putting in there? I have no idea.
I'll get you one, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Do we have one on hand so I can have it?
I can show you on my phone here.
Okay.
Okay, may I call the vote? Is it good, or do you want me to wait a minute?
Give me a minute to see this.
Okay.
See if I can find it here.
Don't see nothing on it either.
I mean, it's credible. I mean, we're not denying that. It's just, we're voting on something we haven't seen, and I'd like to at
Well, I
least.
was just, reading that into the record, sure. I think it's a one-liner, so it's all right. All those in favor of having this read into the record, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that-
Abstain.
Okay, so we have a 4-1 or a 4 abstain. Reports of standing, statutory, and special committees, as well as others. Cool. Thanks, Bob. All right. And we would have at this point, public comment on agenda items. I have a Dana Beneffen.
Tiffin and Escanaba. Commissioners, this is my time. Do not interrupt Ashley. I have 3 minutes.
You can't hear.
I have 3 minutes. Start the following rules. This is an email I sent to you yesterday. It is also posted on Facebook. I'm absolutely stunned. The agenda is out for tomorrow's meeting, and I cannot believe how brazen they are. The part-time job for Rory Mattson on the taxpayer's dime is literally the first thing under new business after paying the bills. I at least thought if they were going to pull this, Baron would sneak it in at the beginning of the meeting. Nope, they don't give a darn about following rules and procedures if those are in the way of them getting exactly what they want. Peterson even posted about how Malner stopped this huge waste of money by following the rules. If any of them have an ounce of integrity or an ethical bone in their body, they would motion to have this removed from the agenda and unanimously support it. Can someone let Peterson know this isn't leadership, it's tyranny? Also gonna be interesting to hear what the response is to the DNR telling them they violated the grant by giving Rory Mattson an easement on the county, or on the Cornell property. You know that one never got notarized after finding out there was a possible violation that could cost the county around $800,000. Moyle and Rory snuck down to the bank to get it notarized. The absolutely shady, unethical stuff these commissioners pull is absolutely astounding. I also don't see them putting Joe Kaplan on the agenda to address the absolutely outlandish accusations Bob Barron made against him last meeting. They refused to let him address it last meeting. He had to use his 3 minutes of public comment. They said he would be allowed to tomorrow. Think about this. The county board literally put it on public record accusing another government elected official on baseless, littlest accusations, then refused that official an opportunity to address those false allegations. These commissioners are the most unethical, borderline corrupt elected officials who have worked for Delta County, and they don't give a darn. We deserve so much better.
Okay, anybody else, public comment on agenda items? Thank you very much. Administrators report.
I attended a presentation given by Billy Rude, environmental engineer Zara Sanchez, regarding the emergency response plan. The purpose was to include the local entities, including the emergency management coordinator, which is Paul Geyer, local law enforcement, central dispatch, Red Cross, OSF hospital employees, and local officials on how Billy Rude will respond to certain situations and inform outside resources for assistance. Also, I was a part of the Education Day at Delta Forest. This month's class included a visit to Delta Schoolcraft Immediate School District. Superintendent Doug Leisenring began the day by informing us what the intermediate school district does for our local school districts and such various administrative and instructional services. There was presentations that were given during that day from mental health systems, early childhood and small wonders, special education, general education, and the career tech education. We were also given the opportunity to tour the Small Wonders preschool, learning in the career and technical classes. I was able to observe the IT Essentials class along with Commissioner View, and one tidbit of information that we received was if any businesses have old technology that they typically sell, they're looking, you can donate it to the IT Essentials class, and they do scrub it and then sell it off, and all the proceeds goes towards scholarships of those children. So if anybody is interested, they're looking for those types of technology. And then while I was walking around, Commissioner View and I were commenting on all these inspirational posters that were just all around the bathrooms, the hallways, and one of them kind of stuck out to me, and I just want to say, and I know it's a quote, "It's not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize and accept and celebrate those differences." So thank you to the ISD for allowing the Delta Force class of 2024 to interrupt their very busy day. Another one, I've been really looking at policies, procedures in Delta County and internal control. I believe that we need to start reviewing these internal controls a little bit, well, at least annually. So I'm working with numerous departments and personnel on reviewing and updating these internal controls. As we progress through these various internal controls, there may be policies and procedures that need to be updated and/or created to construct an effective internal control system. This isn't a review to give the public or the commissioners concerned about the current operations of policies and procedures, but rather to be informed that we are consistently looking to improve this county. That's all I have.
I would need a motion to place that on file.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Barron.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner View. Additional discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would be carried. And now we have the Finance Committee meeting of 3/18/24.
Okay, well, we had the Personnel Committee meeting was
Oh, I'm sorry.
of 3/13/24. I would move that the minutes be placed on file,
Support.
and then there'll be discussions
Okay, we
further in the
have a
agenda.
motion by Barron, supported by Peterson. Additional discussion.
For what? The
Personnel.
finance?
So,
Oh, I should be talking about that.
you want to talk, you can.
Yes. Okay, on the personnel,
No, it's the finance. No, it's personnel.
he said personnel.
I said finance. I screwed up.
Yes.
I jumped over.
Yeah, I went into the finance.
My keen eagle eye vision, I was looking at finance. Go ahead and, we'll get to personnel. I'll make that.
Okay.
So we have a
Okay.
motion for finance. All those in favor?
Oh,
I'm
for
sorry,
personnel.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Wait a second.
I just had some difficulty. I apologize. You'll get your,
No, is this personnel or
This
is
is-
this?
this is personnel, yes?
Okay, on the personnel, we did discuss, let me get the right one now. Soil and erosion. I would not second the motion to have Rory go on that board for soil and erosion. The motion should have died right there. We have road commission with 4 people doing soil and erosion. Dr. Roy, he has no problem with extending it past March into April. And we have Jack Smith that is taking one class. He's gonna be taking another class late March. I think it was March 27th or March 28th. At that time, he would be certified. I don't see no need at all to put another person on the county payroll and pay them. So the motion should have died right there as soon as I did not second that motion. I don't know why it's back on here.
We have previous precedent of a split committee having a contentious issue brought to the board the very next day, so this isn't the first time that rodeo happened. Maybe for you at personnel, but it happened in finance, so.
Well, I know finance, they killed one thing and we never got to talk about it again, so.
So what is your pleasure, Commission? Do you want to have these minutes accepted?
Oh, we already did that.
I didn't get a chance to vote yet.
All right.
Well, there's a motion and a second, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I mean,
All right, so if we've heard Mr. Melner's discussion, all those in favor of accepting these minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, very good, thank you. Now we're on to finance.
And I would make a motion that the Finance Committee meetings, minutes be placed on file, and there'll be, there are items further in the agenda where that's going to come up.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Barron, supported by Commissioner Peterson. Additional discussion?
well, I guess I can wait till they come up, but when were these sent to us? Do-
They were sent to you today. The meeting was yesterday.
Okay, but Okay, it looked like I just got them, I mean, a couple hours ago, you know, is what I see. So I'll wait till we discuss the outcome of these as action items later then.
All those in favor of, accepting these minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did we get a motion on it, or that? Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
All right, very good. That would carry. And now we're going on to department head updates. Are there any department heads wish to update the board? Singing. General orders of business would be unfinished business first. Excuse me, we have the,
Yes, yesterday that was brought up in finance. Mr. Dwyer was there, and he'll be making a presentation at our work session here in April. I believe it's April 2nd. And we had a good discussion about the potential millage. I think it's Public Act 214 says actually the board could implement a millage, but unfortunately, there's a limitation on the funds that would be generated from that. Commissioner Peterson can help me with that, and Ashley, if necessary, please chime in. And so what the direction that's being looked upon is actually a Public Act 192. And that would be something that would be brought before the voters if we decide to go that route, probably in the November election. So, and that's, the amount is something in the neighborhood of 1/10 of a mil, and it would potentially generate enough revenue for another VSO officer and some other incidentals that are needed there. And this would be in addition to what the county's already putting into this department. So I think that's part of the information, part of that, and we'll be getting as I said, a workshop presentation from Mr. Dwyer. This will remain on the unfinished business. So our general practice is when we get a workshop presentation that we don't work on it, we don't go further on it until the next meeting, which is usually 2 weeks later. But this will be under unfinished business. So if we decide we want to do something in April, on that meeting, I think it fits along with our procedures that we're using. So that's the update.
If I can expound on that just a little bit. Public Act 214 is the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund, and that money, if he went under that classification, that money could only be used to help veterans in need. Indigent, they need help with their heat bills or whatever, but it could not be used to hire another person in his office or expand his office. It could only be used to relieve. So was it Public Act 194? Am I right?
192.
192.
it establishes.
He can use that money to hire help, to expand his office, whatever he needs it for. And so that's why we're looking at that. And like Commissioner Barron said, that will have to go to the election to be approved. And so when he comes in next week, we'll work with that, or next meeting.
And if I may add a little bit to that, Commissioner, this Public Act 192 is actually something Schoolcraft has done. They have approximately 700 vets that they're servicing there, and they have, 4 VSO officers. And Delta County has something in the neighborhood of 3,200 to 3,500 vets, and we have 1. There's a significant difference in what's taking place. So I think the presentation on the 2nd of April by Mr. Dwyer will be quite informative and to the board and to the general public, and hopefully it lays the grounds for what we need to do going forward.
Anybody else? So we don't need any motion on this, we're just pretty set up. Fuller Park Pavilion and Picnic Area Development.
Yes. Last meeting, there was not given approval for the 75,000. There was no action taken on this agenda item.
Commission,
I thought we gave him 15,000.
That was
On
two
a-
meetings prior. This one was a request for 75 and no action there was no motion.
Okay, but
given.
they move forward with the 15,000, correct? To do permitting and look at the feasibility of what's happening, I mean,
Right.
okay. So is there something we need to know about moving forward by giving them 75,000 now?
It's just a cap on the project.
Oh,
Even authorize the cap of the project.
but shouldn't we get the parameters of what the project is and what's able to be done there through the permitting process and
That's
stuff?
why we're talking now.
I'm just
So-
asking,
I think it's a
Right.
logical question.
He is looking for a $75,000 cap on the project to use because it's, the only items that are going to be bidded out are materials, because the labor is going to be within house, besides for concrete and such. And we want to have approval so we can start the bidding process of this amount. To make sure that we can actually, that the $75,000 is going to be a threshold, we can actually start the project. If we don't have guidelines on where to start, I mean, we can spend the 15,000 and then turn around and not be able to perform it because we're not getting the other 50.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, it would be bid it out, see if the 75,000 will cover it,
Right,
and then we can award it according to how the permits and everything go. So
Correct,
that's
yeah.
reasonable.
so
That-
we'll start the RFP process and
Okay.
everything else, yes.
I just wanted to understand it clearer.
You would need a motion?
I'll make the motion that we okay the $75,000 cap for the picnic area at Foiler Park.
I'll support.
You have a motion by Commissioner Peterson, supported by Commissioner View. Additional discussion? Roll call, clerk, please.
Milner.
Yes.
View.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
And Moyle.
Yes. Excellent. All right, now on to new business and the payment, no, sorry, I caught myself. Michigan Agricultural Environmental Assurance Program. Say that 3 times fast.
Is that
This-
old business?
Yes, this is old business, this is the MEAT
There was nothing on it.
program.
There's nothing here.
I did make a phone call to MDARD, we haven't connected,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I have no information to provide.
Is
But it
this-
was requested to bring this to the following meeting.
Okay.
Then, okay. New business would now be the payment of our bills.
I've examined all claims presented and recommend payment of the following, and that the county clerk be directed to issue orders on the county treasurer and to the claimants for the amounts allowed. $1,063,084.95, $521.94 of commissioner expenses.
I would need a motion to pay our bills.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Barron,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Peterson. Additional discussion, gentlemen.
Milner.
Yes.
View.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
And Moyle.
Yes. All right, item 2 would be the Soil and Erosion Sedimentation Control Agent part-time.
As Commissioner Molnar, before, we had a split as far as on the Personnel Committee, but I had asked that it be put on here anyway, because we need to get this taken care of as we go forward. And what I think is working out from this would be that we have hired Rory Mattson as a contractor. The drawback of why we're looking at a part-time situation as an employee was because he would be able to sign the permits. But because of and that's why we haven't done that. But what we're looking at is, I think is a solution for this, is that we have more people asking for permits coming in. Jack Smith has to get his certification, his testing, which I believe is going to be done this month. And a suggestion, and I would like to see done, is that that Jack and Rory, because the idea of Rory is to be able to help Jack in learning how to take care of this. There's a lot to this, and the permits that are coming in now, there's been some turned over to the road commission to do, but to take the permits that are starting to come in now and have Jack and Rory go out and visit those. Jack cannot sign an approval until he's been certified, but hopefully everything works well. It's going to be done in the next 10, 12 days, and that he and Rory can go out. This will be a great teaching and learning experience here for teaching to Jack and then learning of what's taking place, and that we could have the two of them go out on these visits, Rory as a contractor, and they won't be able to sign those permits until the Jack is certified, and that can be done basically just a couple weeks from now. Hopefully, he's got a certification, and we'll be able to do that. So that way, we start getting the transition to the county, getting this fully operational, and Jack starts his training that he needs in the help and what's taking place out there. There's a lot of aspects to soils. If you haven't dealt with soils in plants, it's not something that you can simply learn overnight. So I would like to make the motion that we would have the permits coming in for soil and erosion as of now. All the permits that are in that have not been shipped to the road commission per se would start going to Jack Smith and Rory Mattson to go out and visit, and that the actual signing of those permits would take place when Jack is certified in the next 2 weeks.
We have a motion by Commissioner Barron,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Peterson. Additional discussion, please.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead, John.
the road commission has a contract, if I'm not mistaken, right, Ashley, until March 28th or March 31st?
I have not received a signed contract back. However, there is intent of a contract, yes.
So we do have a signed contract, or a contract out there with the road commission. The road commission also said that they would go way past that and do whatever it takes to help us out until Jack has his certification in hand. And by putting Rory on is just another expense that we don't really need.
Steve?
Well, you go next.
Yeah, if I may, I talked to Jody from the road commission, and what I got from Jody was they really want nothing to do with it. And as far as the cost to the county, and working with Mr. Mattson and Mr. Barron, there really is no cost to the county to have him in here. He will take a portion of the permit fees, and the rest of the permit fee will go to the county. And I have talked to Jack Smith, and Jack Smith wants his help badly. There's more to this than just going and taking a test and passing a test. I've been on several soil and erosions, and there's a lot to it. I mean, you can walk out there and say, yeah, you can do that, or no, you can't do that. But I guess it'd be like me, being a building inspector, walk up and say, that header's wrong up there, and then turn around walking away without giving anybody an option of how to do it. And this is where Rory's help can come in, is that he's been doing it for decades now. He's probably one of the most qualified people in this county. And him helping Jack and extra training above and beyond what Jack's going to get is, I think, invaluable to this county.
Mr. Few?
Yeah, I did a little self-educating on this because I figured it would be somewhat controversial, maybe not. But talking to Manager Norman, last night I talked to him, he already has 8 permits that he must pursue to the end. He's looking to stop accepting permits by March 31st. He said he definitely wants to stop at that time. He's worried about having too many, which would take away resources for the upcoming road maintenance season. It'll take his guys away, and once he receives them, he needs to follow them through the end. He agrees that, and I don't want to bring names in it, we keep mentioning Rory, but we had a process where we give the proposals for qualifications. Somebody was indicated that qualified, and I'm just concerned as a commission, is it our job to hire him, or is that administration's job? You know, why is it coming back to the board? And I just feel it's not, with all due respect, it isn't a board decision. It's the person we have overseeing the county on our behalf to make that. That's just my own personal opinion. But to getting back to Jody, he said that a mentor would be great for whoever we put in that position. Book work isn't everything. Schooling is great. You get the certification, you get the degree, or whatever he's trying to get certified for. But there's the practical. You need a sunset, though. What that means is you need a period of time when you would probably potentially hire someone, and you say you got, 6 months or something. So it's not a never-ending process. That made pretty good sense when we were talking. Then we got on to the issue of Mr. Mattson. And I have permission to speak on what we talked about, and he said he's a go-getter. He's been a valuable resource for the road commission for many years. Great friend of the board, knowledgeable, and helped the board for many years. This is not me speaking, this is the manager and people on his board. He spoke for his people on his board. He helps and funds and finds funding for major projects. He had many connections in Lansing. This is like a synopsis of this gentleman here, Mr. Mattson. He had, Mr. Casperson and that, so he had lots of power to give us money and resources, and he gave 2 examples. The Wells Road Commission Garage project was done through Rory. He said Rory worked effortlessly to do that. He said, grant you, he got paid. But he said there was so much stuff he did above and beyond. And Mr. Norman said, I was waiting for an additional bill, and it never came. So the Wells Bridge was another project. He said he's been, so there's 2 major projects that really helped the county out where I'm not privy to how all this happened, but it sounds like they were real happy with what he had to offer in regards to our road commission. He said he has been controversial at times. Who hasn't when you speak certain ways or you speak out, I can be controversial. I don't like to be, but I do. He says when he comes to meetings, and I can attest to this when I was talking to him, the meetings last a little longer. He has a lot of information to give you. So then I called our building and zoning guy, Jack Smith. And I said, all I asked him is, how do you feel about stepping into this job once you do all the book work? And he said he could use someone. He didn't specifically mention a name, but whoever's most qualified from what we put out as for qualifications, let the chips fall where they may. That's my opinion.
Could I address your concern?
I didn't think I had a
You
concern.
made a comment on, it was my responsibility. This agenda item is to create the job description and the position. It's not to hire anybody. It is just to create the position, because right now there is no position.
Well, I wasn't, I guess my talks get twisted, but.
Oh, okay.
The problem was, we gave the qualifications, I mean, that request for proposals of qualifications.
Right.
I thought that somebody would fill that out, you get multiple people, and I figured someone would, administration would pick who would be qualified, and then it would go to the finance committee for payment.
Right.
Is what I thought, because it already went to personnel that we needed somebody, and we were going for the qualifications. And then I thought, right now, I heard somebody say that we hire him.
So an RFP.
Or did I hear that wrong?
So an RFP is for a contractor, and that's what you have approved is the RFP. This is employee, this is a position, not an independent contractor. So there is no position for me to fill right now for the soil and erosion. So that's what's happening here, and that's what the,
So we're just hiring
we're creating an employee position and not doing a independent contractor.
If I may?
Yep,
My-
absolutely.
What I proposed here is that this position will not be needed. We will start with the permits coming in that are, the road commission has 8 of them, and they want to back them off, that's fine. And this would fit in, they would come in, and Jack Smith, the building and zoning, and Rory Mattson, who's already the contractor that we already have online.
We didn't hire him, though.
We hired as a contractor. He is,
Oh,
we did,
oh,
that
okay.
went to the finance committee meeting, it was approved, it went to the finance committee, we worked out the rates. So that part's done. This soil erosion sediment control agent, part-time, is no longer necessary. If we have Jack and Rory start immediately of the permits coming in now, minus the ones that are already at the road commission, to go forward and start visiting these sites. And that Jack will pass his certification this month, and then it'll be in April where hopefully early April, that he would know his certification, then he can actually officially sign those permits. It's basically getting to him, he gets the experience, and he gets to see what these landowners, and he and Rory, and then they understand what's going on, and then when they can be the signing of the permits can be done in a couple weeks. But this gets us started right now. We have to make the transition sometime. This is a great time to start it, and just as you reported with the road commission, things are building up on them. They want to be done with this fairly
Absolutely.
quickly. So that's, I can make that in a form of a motion. I don't know if I have or not yet.
Yeah, there is a motion.
A motion, and yes, right, there's a second motion, and that's what we do. But for your clarification, is the soil erosion sedimentation control agent part-time is not here. We're saying bring the contractor and our Jack Smith and have them get started. They can sign off on the permits in approximately 2 weeks.
Is that proper to take permits on the assumption that we're gonna have somebody later on that can sign them when we have no idea when that is? Or, I'm sure he's gonna pass, but there's no guarantee. I'm just asking, is that kosher or not? I would like to know. I'm all for it, but I mean, are we going backwards in
No, we're
the way
going
we're doing?
forward.
No, in the way we're doing it. Shouldn't we have somebody that's qualified first? And even have this guy help them? Because both parties, both the road commission and our building and zoning guy said that it would be very beneficial and helpful to have a person help out for a certain period of time.
Well, that's what we're proposing right here. And to get this started, we have to make this transition. This is a good time to get it started, right now.
What it is, instead of hiring him as an employee for the county,
Yeah.
we're hiring him as a subcontractor, say. Like I would with my construction business. If I don't do block work, I would hire somebody to come in and do the block work for me, and I would pay him he wouldn't be an employee, I wouldn't have to insure him, I don't have to pay any tax or anything on him. He's a
Additional
subcontractor.
expense, No, FICA, any of that stuff.
Oh, I'm for it. I'm having a hard time dealing with, you are projecting that the signing of these permits will be done after the fact, and is that proper to assume that we're gonna take these under Jack Smith, who isn't qualified, right?
He's working on it, but
No, I
So-
realize
so-
that, but I mean, can we issue these permits without somebody being qualified for the county?
No.
Can?
No, we can't.
And whoever issues the permit, whether it's the road commission or the county, they have to be followed through till their end, till they're signed off by whatever. I'm not familiar with the whole process, but see what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, I'm not
Can
trying
we
to do
word it a
anything, I'm just
different
trying to
way?
get this done. But-
So are you suggesting, Commissioner View, that we do put him on as a temporary employee?
That's what I thought we were doing I didn't know. I mean, it's confusing because of all the controversy
No.
that happens
Well-
with this gentleman. I mean, my history with him's 1 year. He's credible to me right now. I mean, I have no issue
who are
with
you
him.
talking about, Roy?
Yeah.
That's good.
I said, I have a history of 1 year with him. All this back stuff it may be credible, it sounds horrible, some of it and that, but until we get more information, but how many commissioners, I mean, what if what we're doing is wrong? How do we know what we're doing is right? Issuing permits without someone that has the qualification to issue permits, I guess.
We're
is
not issuing, they won't be able to issue the permits until his certification is granted. They will be able to visit and get an idea what's taking place so that they have that step started.
But it doesn't mesh with what needs, I mean, the road commission would have to issue them then, and then once they issue them,
They
they'll have to
really
keep.
don't want involvement, I think.
Absolutely.
Nice.
He's worried that if he gets, he figures there's gonna be maybe 15 more in the next, within the next month or early April, and once he gets them, he said it's gonna interfere with his progression to do work on our roads in the county, and he's not looking forward to
But
it.
we have a solution here.
And it's the path of least
Yeah,
resistance, yes.
and I believe we need, it's a path we can move forward on immediately. And we're gonna be having to do a transition. This discussion could be 2 weeks from now again, when we could already get started in the transition.
Don't we have to post this job?
No, we've already,
Actually,
we
That's
already,
all
it's
done.
already
This
done.
No.
job?
Yes. Well,
Not
if
his
it's
job.
Are you talking about the contractor or, okay, if you're talking about the contractor, no, we did an RFP. If you want a part-time employee, we have to, yes, post the job.
Who can answer the question on this board if this is kosher?
Define kosher.
That we can have Rory and a non-qualified, someone that isn't qualified to give permits to go out and look at the permitting process and hold on to them until it's time that he can sign them. It's like me being a doctor and go operate, fix a broken arm.
No, I think
And
that's
well,
a
maybe
little
I'm-
extreme there.
Slightly
Well,
different, yeah.
well, it's.
I wish Mr. Mattson was here, but he had to be out of town today.
I'm trying not to bring his name in it too.
Well, it's here. So anyway, it's here, but what I wanted, I believe, if I heard and remember correctly, that those permits can be held on to for 30 days, which would give us 1 month. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Which would give us 1 month for Jack to get, Mr. Smith to get certified and be able to pass these.
Let me throw this caveat in. I heard it could be held on for 30 days by the person requesting the permit. The property owner. I'm just,
I think we have a motion.
okay, go ahead.
Well,
I mean, I'm for it. I don't know if I'm for it moving this way with it. So let's, you want to vote, that's fine.
So, can
Yeah,
you
read the
restate
motion.
the motion, because I have no idea.
Do it. Yeah, trying to get a new letter. Go
Okay,
ahead, sir.
my motion would be that a contractor to help out the soil, or for the soil and erosion end of the building and zoning, be able to start with Jack Smith, our director there, immediately, taking these permits to start the visits, and then when Jack is certified, they'll be able to sign off on those permits.
So you want to initiate an RFP?
We don't need any RFP. We already have the contract. We're not making a motion for the control agent. We don't, a part-time position. We are strictly bringing into play what's going to be happen in a couple weeks anyway.
Very good. We have, Mr., did you get that answer? All right, Mr. Peterson, your second
I
stage.
supported, yep.
All right, roll call, please.
No.
View,
No,
Barron,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
and Moyle.
Yes. So, item next. Multi-county materials management plan, letters of intent.
Can I interject here?
Absolutely.
So if we have the contract, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. We already did an RFP and everything. So what was brought back on the contractor subject was rates. So that was brought to the finance committee, which was approved. The rates have not been approved by the Board of Commissioners, so we will have to bring this back to approve the rates. It's not on the agenda because we were bringing, this was requested as a position agenda item, not as the contractor agenda item. So I just want to let everybody know.
Okay.
Yep.
can I just ask, we're not hiring him then, we're just subcontracting him, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, but those rates still have to come forward
Oh,
for
no,
your
I
approval.
just
'cause it was
wanted-
re- Yeah,
I get
So-
kind of confused too.
so that will be on the
Sorry.
April 2nd meeting, those rates, and they've already went through finance and everything.
Okay, great.
Anything else, gentlemen? Can we move on? Okay, now, item 3 is the multi-county materials management plan and letters of intent.
Okay, before you have 2 letters. The first letter is a notification that we have to send to each adjacent county of our involvement with the multi-county materials management plan. The second is the response that we send to the counties that are informing us that they're gonna be a part of the multi-county management plan. So I'm requesting to approve these letters and to send them out when appropriate. Commissioner View, you had asked me to talk to Terry from Delta Solid Waste, and I did. Her concerns were addressed. She was concerned about having a position on the planning committee. And so my recommendation to the board that when it comes time to appoint individuals, to appoint somebody from Terry, Dave from the Delta Solid Waste to be a part of that planning board with QPAD.
Okay, so all this is okay with
Yes.
the managers of the solid waste? Okay, I tried calling her today, I couldn't get you.
Nope. I did talk to her, so.
Okay, great.
We need a motion.
I'll move that what are we doing, signing these?
Approval for Commissioner Moyle to sign them and then send them when appropriate.
Approval to sign these, what are they?
Letters.
One of them,
Oh, letters of intent and support, and send them to the appropriate authorities.
yes.
We have a motion by Commissioner View,
I'll support.
supported by Commissioner Peterson. Additional discussion?
Yeah, I'm supporting it because of Terry, our solid waste manager, and Dave are in support of this and are looking forward to making our landfill one of the best in the state, and so.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. RFP for tractor award.
Presented to you tonight is the submissions for the tractor RFP. We received numerous proposals, which I'm happy to see. They were opened on March 15th of 2024 at 2 PM. Parks Manager Steve Weary and I reviewed the proposals and used the RFP to make sure that all required documents were given and the required specifications were met. We also calculated a 5% allowance for the Delta County vendors, and we are recommending to award the bid to UP Tractor for the LS MT 352 for $46,000.
Make a motion that we okay the purchase.
I'll support
We have
that.
a motion by Commissioner Peterson and support by Commissioner View. Additional discussion.
Where is UP Tractor? Give me an
Rock.
Rock, okay. I thought,
They're a Delta County vendor.
okay, I wanted to, that's great.
Does this mean a roll call because of the amount of this or not?
Well, the other thing I want to make too, originally, wasn't it like 70,000? I mean, so doing our due diligence, we saved quite a few $1,000s and getting something that's gonna suit our needs. So I'd just like to make the public aware that this came up before, and good job to everyone involved.
Roll call.
Yes, please.
Melner,
Yes.
Beal,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
And Moyle.
Yes. Pass. Ratify the letter of support for the city of Escanaba application for congressional funding.
I was contacted by Director Goodware of the Escanaba Public Safety and City Manager Jim McNeil to support the purchase of a ladder truck. I'm looking for approval from the commission to support this.
I'll move that we do that.
I'll support it.
We have a motion by Commissioner View with support by Commissioner Peterson. Additional discussion.
Yes, can you just give something real brief on how this works? Are they getting funding for a truck or
They're
borrowing or looking, I mean, what does this mean is what I'm saying? I read it, but
It's just the Congress's discretional, allowance, so.
they're not
entities-
guaranteed money or, no, they're requesting.
They're requesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an application to like a grant.
Oh, okay, okay.
And, so they have a truck, a ladder truck, and I can't remember.
92.
92, okay. I was like, I can't remember, it was the early nineties, that they're looking to update, so.
Can other cities use this or,
Yes, last year, the county applied for the congressional, for another tower for dispatch.
Did they
The
get it?
800 No, we did not get that.
do you have to come to the county to okay this?
Other municipalities do not have to come to the county, to the board. They're looking for our support. So
Okay.
they attach a bunch of, support letters from other entities or
To
municipalities.
show the need and,
Show the need and how, it would benefit just not only the city of Escanaba, but like our states, that
yeah,
it benefits
the whole
other
county.
areas. of the county.
Wells. Okay, I was just trying to get a little background, because I know other places that need fire trucks too, and I didn't know if they knew
Yeah.
about this or did this, or, I thought, so, great,
And it
great
looks like-
information.
Yeah, it looks like the ladder truck is 2 million.
Yeah, $2 million, yes.
Right.
That is not coming out of our general fund.
That's why we need help.
All right, gentlemen, we have a motion and support. All those in favor of issuing this letter of support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes, and thank you, Escanaba. All right, item 6 is the LOA corrections, what is it, S. Sadowski prior service.
So this is a letter of agreement that the sheriff and I are requesting for signature or approval. Teamsters has already signed for this letter of agreement. What it is the civil clerk that we created from a part-time to a full-time job just a while back. We want to carry over her sick time, like her benefits, so she doesn't have to start from ground zero anymore. And again, we did this for the correctional officers back when they were part-time and we moved them into a full-time. So we're just looking for the same treatment for this position.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Peterson,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Barron. Additional discussion, please.
I just have one question. The other correctional officer, why do we keep putting that thing that says this agreement will not set precedents for future agreements, and then you said we did it before and now we're doing it again.
It was-
We should just leave that out of there. Is there a
It was
reason?
two separate positions. So,
It's counterintuitive of what you're doing, because we did it before. I mean, I don't know we did it before, but you just said we did. And now we're doing it again, and we're saying it's not gonna set any standards of doing it again.
I think it's a clause that the Teamsters Association puts in all their LOAs.
Does it protect us at all, so, or are we obligated because we keep doing it?
I mean.
I'll
this
support it, I
stuff-
just,
So we always have to do in a letter of agreement, we can't just say, because of past practice, we're gonna do it this way. It always comes forth before the board. If we, remove it sets precedence, then it doesn't even have to come to this table.
all right, then
So,
I
at
would
least it
recommend you
keeps
leave
all
it
of
in
us up
so
to
we
date.
know. I would recommend it stays in there.
We have a motion, we have support. Additional discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would pass. All right, appointment, we have two openings for the Pathways Board.
You want me to take it? We have two people that are on the board right now, and they still want to be on the board, so I'll make a motion to keep those two on the board, which is Steve and George.
We have a motion by Commissioner.
I'll
Melner.
support that so we can discuss it.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Melner to keep Steve and George on the board, members currently serving. That's supported by Commissioner View. Now, additional discussion.
I know one of the members, and he'd be a great asset to that board, and he was on it before. The other one I don't know, and as new commissioners, we don't get the original application to look at I mean, they're already on there, I guess it doesn't matter, eh?
Are you looking for a response?
I'm just asking the commission what they think. I mean, does everybody know every one of these gentlemen?
We have two,
Yeah.
two guys serving, they wish to serve, it's a
Okay.
good thing.
I just thought we could give
George-
something good about them, you know?
Yeah, George has been on the board, Pathways Board for 6-8 years.
George Bob.
He
Yeah, good
he
idea.
retired from Pathways. so
Okay, all right.
He's got like 30-some years on it. Steve Howes is.
School
he
board.
works for the school boards,
Bay Bank.
yeah.
I said I knew one, and I just want the public to know.
He's very, very, very active in the community.
Yep, sports, announcing, just so the public has some idea that we're just not, it's just not a name, it's somebody that really cares about our community, both of them, so thank you.
We have a motion and support. All those in favor of returning these two gentlemen to service signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Steve and George, very much. Okay, we have the Assistant Building and Zoning Administrator.
Presented before you is an updated job description reviewed and recommended by the Personnel Committee. I would like to make one small change that was requested by the union on this job description that's before you. It is on page 2, the third bulletin down. It states, let me get to the beginning, permit applications, permit violations, inspection data, reports, and filing ensures the documents are complete and accurate before submittal through the appropriate process. They would like to change that to say are complete and accurate and approved by the building and zoning administrator before submittal, just period.
Awesome, that change.
I think it's agreeable, definitely.
What's the reason for the change?
I think it's just to show that the building and zoning administrator is reviewing the assistant's work and has to be approved from that individual before it can be submitted.
Takes liability away and puts it on the department head, is it, that's basically what it's doing?
And it is definitely reasonable. And
Yes.
then their other change that they would like, the last bulletin, same grouping, says perform other duties as assigned by the building and zoning administrator. They would like it to also state, comma, relating to the aforementioned job duties. And right.
What do you think?
So I was thinking, relating to the aforementioned, building and zoning department.
You feel comfortable with that? Because we ran into an issue with this before,
Right,
so.
exactly.
Which
So I'm just-
saying are we gonna do? We can't approve it unless they okay what you just said or not?
They actually don't need to approve the job description, they just, approve the rate, and it's staying at a grade 2.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't heard back from the union if they are approve of the rate, so.
We're just sending this out to have people apply for.
Or rate, I'm sorry, 12. Forgot the one in front of, sorry.
Big difference.
A big difference. We don't even have a grade 2, I apologize.
So this is just bring out the job description for people to apply for. Well, I'll move that we post the job description for Assistant Building and Zoning Administrator as written with the changes that
I
you
presented.
mentioned, you presented, whatever.
Or
We have a motion from Commissioner Views, supported by Commissioner Melner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That would carry, thank you. Okay, or cancel the April the 16th meeting.
So in April, we have 3 meetings. One is a statutory meeting. That is not the April 16th meeting. So typically, when we have 3 meetings, this is an agenda item and the meetings before, if you would like to cancel. We have on April 2nd, we have the VSO coming in. So we figured that the commission would not want to cancel that meeting. And so April 16th, we have April 9th, and that's the statutory meeting, and then April 16th, we can have our cancel.
What is your pleasure, gentlemen?
I would move that we would cancel that meeting. If something does come up, we can always reschedule.
I'd support that.
A motion by Commissioner Barron and supported by Commissioner Peterson. Mr. Few, your wheels were turning.
I don't like canceling nothing. If
So
it's
we
scheduled, we are.
have one on the 2nd and the 9th then, right?
Yes. Okay, any other discussion? We have a motion, we have support. All those in favor of canceling that meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so we're at a 4-1. That would be canceled. Budget amendment election.
This came up in finance, and I think rather than misrepresent it, I'll ask Ashley to tell us what took place.
They took a pounding.
So recommended by the Finance Committee is increasing the clerk's budget. And the reason for the increase is due to the elections in early voting. Majority of these costs are reimbursed from state and local municipalities. So you'll see we are also increasing both revenue and expenditures.
How much is the amount we're increase?
Can I write that one down? So we will be increasing the department $57,850.
Nancy, at one time, I heard that the state was supposed to reimburse us for some of that early voting.
Yes, yes, they will. So,
Did
but
we-
I don't, my budget was increased to $65,000 this year. Ashley and I, when we originally sat down, came up with $65,000. Typically, it's $25,000 on an election year, on an even year election. And we thought 65 would cover it, didn't even come close because pretty much 65,000 has been spent already with the February election.
Yeah.
And so in order for me to pay any more bills going forward, I have to have money in that account.
Can't pay bills.
A lot of that will be reimbursed, about $65,000 will be reimbursed. But we, I have to have money to work with for the rest of the year,
Right,
or we
right,
won't have
right.
any more elections, which
Okay.
is just fine with me.
And does that automatically go back into the general fund then?
Yes.
It just transfers right back in, okay.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second on the floor. Additional discussion. All those in favor of amending this budget item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh,
I didn't catch who made the motions.
I'll make the motion.
oh, I thought you made the motion.
I thought I did too, but
I'll support.
Okay, so we have
We're voting on something we didn't even,
Commissioner Barron made the motion.
I think we did. but-
Commissioner, I think we did make the motion. Commissioner View supporting.
catch you.
It's all right, it's all right. We have no additional discussion, so all those in favor of this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, put it straight. Okay. And budget amendment for, recommendation.
I received, or the finance, can you hear me? I'm sorry. Okay. The Finance Committee approved to increase the remonumentation supplies budget for this year. So I'm looking for approval. It is for $3,000. This is a special revenue fund. This does not come out of the general fund. And Typically, they spend about $2,000 to $3,000, which is what was budgeted for. However, due to increase in remounting mutations,
The
the
stakes.
supplies went up, right? So I'm just looking for approval for this 3,000.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support it.
Commissioner Peterson moves, Commissioner Barron supports.
And discussion, all right.
No, please.
Ashley, this comes out of the fund, and I'm trying to find a number. What is the number of this fund?
245.
I mean, the amount that's in it,
Oh, 3,000, or what's in the amount?
of the fund that this is coming from.
It was about 112,000 change.
Right.
It was the fund balance
Yeah, so
amount.
this is the fund
And
that's
they-
coming from that's sitting there.
Yeah, and we don't use it very often, so.
Very good. Anybody else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed as well. RFP Circuit Court Wall, excuse me.
I'd like to correct my statement on 112, I just looked it up, it was 120,000.
What item are we on now?
Item, I just said. 12. Item 12 is the Circuit Court Wall, the RFP.
The RFP for the circuit court wall, this is all to do with the courthouse security upgrades that are being done. We're looking for approval of this RFP to start construction on the circuit courtroom wall and then also the front entrance vestibule.
Gentlemen?
I'll move that we submit it for,
The RFP.
I support.
Okay, so you have a motion by Commissioner View and a support by Commissioner Peterson. Do we have any additional discussion on this?
just if people want to really look at what we're doing, there's some pretty nice diagrams. They get that same packet we have, right? So
Yes.
they can look at what's actually happened. It's quite detailed-ish.
Right, so these are the plans that will be sent out. If you look in the bid document, it talks about different organizations that the plans will be available at, and then also we have a bidders list that we send out.
It would be nice, I mean, I think off the wall sometimes, but if we just had slides that they could see our pack, especially these pictorial things that we're talking about, we could put them on the wall for them. I think that would be something I'd like to look into someday for the citizens in the audience and stuff.
Very good. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would pass. Great. Resolution of support for the Escanaba High School Baseball Booster Inc., which is a charitable gaming license.
Right. Escanaba High School Baseball Booster is looking for recognition as a 501(c) organization to secure a raffle license from the State of Michigan Gaming Commission.
Gentlemen,
I would support,
the
resolution.
moved yet. Oh, you're moving then,
I may,
right?
yes, I'm sorry, I'd make a motion to accept, or to, send out the resolution.
So we have Commissioner Peterson.
I'll support it.
Is going to make the motion. Commissioner View supports. Additional discussion?
Why do they need a resolution when they are already recognized as one? Is this just for notoriety out in the community, or
So they're looking to be recognized
in what way?
as that they're a 501(c) organization. So they have to be recognized by a local
Unit of
municipality.
government.
Okay, but they are a 501c3 by what I read here.
Right, exactly, what they've provided us that they are.
Okay, so a government agency has to recognize them, correct? Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted, it was confusing a little bit.
Anybody else with question? All those in favor of supporting this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, so we have 4-1, and that would pass. Then we have a response to the Department of Natural Resources on the trust fund. Let me interject here. We've been correlating information. We're putting it together. We are not behind the eight ball, we are on time. And I'm looking, having this response finalized and getting it to the DNR. Questions, anybody? This is what it's on here.
My question is, are we just sending a letter, or is there any other type of documentation or testimony from any other person, like the Conservation District and that helped throughout the last 10 years, I guess?
If
with
I
the
may?
forests?
You may, please.
Yes, I'm working with Rory and Administrator Young, and we are putting together, we are gathering a lot of information. We were out there taking pictures of some things last week, and we will have everything ready hopefully by Friday, and we'll meet with Ms. Young to go through it and finalize the response. To bring it to the next meeting, okay it, and send it out.
As I understand it, one of the sportsmen's organizations is partnering with us.
Yes.
And that is going to say, it's a very large presentation or document, what we're sending in, so we want to just make sure that we have the i's dotted, the t's crossed. And this is not something that we took nilly-willy, so it's very appropriate if any of you had any questions, we'd answer them, but if not, we'll move on.
Well, no, I still want to see what role the Conservation District would have in responding to this, their new board, their Heather, the head of the board and stuff like that. If their manager, wouldn't that kind of help us if they?
I think if they wanted to send in their own letter, they're more than welcome.
Well, shouldn't they be part of this? Because they were more of what happened out there than what we are.
No, not the current one.
The current board has only been there, I think, less than a year.
But they have all the records.
So does Rory.
All right, any other discussion, please? There's no need to make a motion on it or vote, because it'll be here shortly. All right, general public comment. General public comment.
Already?
Oh,
Yeah.
we flew. General public comment? Thank you, Dave.
Those who don't know me, my name is David Adamini. Lived here most of my life when I wasn't active in the service. And I'd just like to say a couple things. No one appreciates death threats. I don't think anybody in this room would argue that there's anything to be gained by that. I think everyone in here would denounce that, as they would anyone who harassed or stalked anyone of the commissioners, say family, wife, daughter, that type of stuff. I think we can all agree that's unacceptable behavior. Don't know anything about the death threats of the public, but here's what we do know. Commissioner Moyle, I understand that you're upset, your family being harassed, but I would assume that you would find that behavior unacceptable about your family, and we see somebody's in custody and being charged with that. So I'm glad to see that. But one thing I haven't heard was any statement from yourself about the conduct that occurred to your political opponent in the last election. A good friend of yours who admitted on tape in an interview, and I can play that if you'd like, that he was working for you when he was in that alley photographing her family and her residence. Now, I think if we're going to draw the line in unacceptable behavior, we should see that coming directly from the board. Commissioner Peterson, I voted for you in the last election. I want to trust you, and I want to believe all the commissioners when you folks speak. I questioned you a couple of meetings ago about your authenticity and what you said about the gun bill. I basically said that you lied to us about it, and you confronted me after the meeting about that. That's fine. I have no problem with that. A couple of meetings ago, before I was cut off, I wanted to follow up on a statement you made about windmills and, as you put it, the Biden administration. Now, that's the kind of rhetoric. You didn't say the previous administration. You talked specifically about windmills and then about the gas and oil permitting. Now, I went and fact-checked that, as anybody in the county can do. Here's what I found. In fact, the Biden administration did not cancel and stop all oil and drilling permits. In fact, they issued approximately 258 more than the previous administration. And that's how you speak about something non-politically, previous, current. There's no reason to push some false agenda. So we, the citizens of this county, deserve better representation than we're getting. And it's hard to even know where to begin sometimes. But I will thank the three of you commissioners for doing one thing, for bringing a lot of the folks together. And I'd like to remind the folks of this county that we don't need to unseat all three of these commissioners, only one of them, to bring some normality back to this county. This isn't about right or left politics. This is about right and wrong behavior and what's acceptable and what is not acceptable. And if any of this behavior is acceptable, you know, it could be done differently. And I'm sorry that, you know, Commissioner Moyle, would you say anything in an interview you didn't think should be presented in this meeting? That's a question I have.
Thank you,
That's all I
sir.
have.
Thank you. General public comment, you have 3 minutes to address the board. Good evening.
Audience,
You're gonna have to
Estanaba.
lean into that mic there, please.
I want to talk about two things. At the previous board meeting, I asked if a bus full of illegals come to our county or to our airport, do we have a plan to send them back immediately? I don't think anybody wants to see a bunch of strangers on the Ludington Street sidewalks in sleeping bags. We may not even have our UP State Fair if the fairgrounds becomes a refugee camp. Will you please work on this issue with Delta County Sheriff? My second subject is about the people who come to county and to the township meetings. We have some Delta citizens who attend the meetings to listen, learn, participate, and support, who know the power of prayers, who are proud of being Americans, who stand up in front of the flag and proudly recite the Pledge of Allegiance. We also have some individuals who come to criticize, attack, talk loud, and angry. Some people try even to cover their family issues by blaming others. I hope they will adopt good manners and work to solve our common problems. I do want to have investigations about anything that, any wrongdoings that may have happened in our county. Thank you.
Thank you. General public comment, please. Sir?
Good evening, commissioners and members of the community. I want to clarify one thing about this fact check, past check information database. It's a think tank used by liberals. Whether you agree with me or not, check the executive orders that Joe Biden put in place on the first day he got in office. He shut down our oil. This is why oil and gas went up to $5 and $6 and $7 a gallon, particularly in California, and it touched me in Michigan when I had to pay over $5.50 a gallon for diesel. So that was not a fast check, sir. It was a fact lie. Get on the
You-
website.
Sir, this meeting will come to order.
I've got the chair.
Sir, give me a
I've
sec.
got the floor.
Sir, give me a sec, please.
Yes.
Thank you. He's speaking, you're quiet. That's the only warning, okay?
Sir, you will, and if you can address us.
You need to address us, but give me, I'm giving to get there, okay?
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right, no,
You have to look at the
go ahead.
executive orders that Biden pushed through. And if you go on the website, you will see that the oil industry in America was shut down. This is why you and I had to pay $5, $6, and $7 a gallon in some areas of the country because of his stupidity to shut and deliberately shut the oil down. It had nothing to do with Fast Check. Fact Check was a lie. That's all I have to say. I apologize for the emotion, but when it comes to this presidency and this administration, I will speak up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, general public comment. You may address the board. Guys, come on, general public comment, please. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, good evening, Bonnie Huckala. So many things to talk about. I'd like to talk again about elections. Once again, and watching election experts going through all the things that have been going wrong with our elections, how much fraud is in the Dominion machines, and how much fraud is built
Okay,
up.
can you lean into the mic?
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, thank you.
I don't think your mic is, hello, can you hear me?
Tap, give it a good tap.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's see if we can use Ashley's.
But you just, no.
Ms. Huckala?
No, you just have to.
Oh, come over and use Bob's.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, so anyway, a lot of the experts, I was listening today to 5 experts on Dominion machines, and there is a lot of fraud. The fraud is coming out. The fraud was very prevalent in Michigan and in Wisconsin. Am I saying that our local clerk did something wrong? No. I'm saying there's fraud inherent in the elections. It's in the machinery. It's in the fact that they are hooked up to the internet and they are tapped. Is that a surprise? We have a lot of our agencies infiltrated every day. So there's a lot of fraud. How could we get away from the fraud? Well, we could actually go into paper ballots, one-day voting, no drop boxes, no early voting. It would not only keep our elections more safe, fair, but they would also make them less costly. We're paying a lot of money for our elections. As we talked about last time, 45 million, 65,000 so far this year. The other thing I'd like to talk about is our open border and illegals. Just today, I heard that the illegals are going to be given the right to carry guns. If that doesn't make you nervous, it makes me nervous. We should close our border. That should have been done day one. Let's talk about one thing about our president, current. The first day he was in office, he had a huge stack of orders that he signed. Those were reversing a lot of President Trump's orders from before that closed our border. So what do I think of Biden's orders? I don't think they're very good. They don't make our country safe. We have a bunch of illegal aliens running around, and what are they going to do? We've seen evidence of what they're doing already. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate your time. General public comment. General public comment. Okay.
Sorry, I can't stay by and watch what's going on here. Name is Kay Rollins, and I am a poll worker for Wells Township. And I can tell you, we do paper ballots. I don't know why you say we don't, but we do. And every single ballot that goes through that Dominion machine is counted. We can, at the end of the night or sometime thereafter, count every single ballot and then count the Dominion's totals, and they come out the same. We've done it before. I don't know why there is so much paranoia about these Dominion machines. All I'm talking about is Wells Township Dominion machine. There is no problem with the voting done there. Thank you.
Thank you. General public comment, please. General public comment. You have 3 minutes to address the board.
I have one.
Thank you.
Dana Van Effen, Escanaba. Again, do not interrupt Ashley. This is my time as a constituent of Delta County to redress my government. Stop violating the Open Meetings Act. You are public officials making public comments. This is my response to those comments. So no, point of order here, Commissioner Barron. This is the email I sent to Barron yesterday, but it can also be applied to Moyle and Peterson, as they have also made these same accusations. I read and saw your interview with 19 News. I would just like to reiterate that I hope whoever sent the death threats is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I vehemently disagree that it is domestic terrorism. You sounded a bit unhinged. I find you politicizing those death threats beneath the office you hold. You do not know who sent them or why. For you to publicly accuse an entirely legal recall effort for something is just another reason for people to vote to recall you. You state you were set up, and I have endured attacks. Here in reality, you are responsible for the decisions you make, including the pre-planned firing of Administrator DeSalvo. The so-called attacks you are describing are just the public letting the rest of the public know of your decisiveness, shady actions. Just because you don't want the public aware of those actions doesn't make them attacks. Facts matter. No one was duped in deciding the recall election petitions. They were true and factual. Over 75% of the signers sought out the petitions, and it was overwhelmingly bipartisan, but you already knew that. I mean, what did you think would happen when you used your seat for personal reasons to try to annex entire townships? There is absolutely zero transparency of this board. I hate to break it to you, but FOIAs are legally binding. It has nothing to do with the transparency. In fact, the county recently decided to start charging citizens for those FOIAs, stopping people from accessing information already paid for by their tax dollars. ID, they can't afford it. You continuously abuse your authority and power. You disrespect the oath you took. You make a mockery of the seat you hold. I, for one, cannot wait until you were voted out in May 7. Your straight white Christian sermons have absolutely no place in local government. Your statements to the press today solidify you have no business on the county commission.
Thank you, Ms. Van Effen. All right, anybody else for general public comment? One more time, please. General public comment. Ms. Barron. And Mr. Peterson, sorry.
You're having a bad day, Dave.
I am. I had a migraine this morning. I'm fighting a migraine.
Excuse me, I'm gonna pass.
Pass. I'll
Mr.
catch
Pugh.
it. I'll catch it. Seems like I always have something to say. First, I strongly disapprove any acts of violent aggression, hostile behavior, you name it. But I also, about spreading disinformation. To me, that causes more trouble than anything. Not misinformation. A lot of times we can be given stuff that we find out later wasn't true. Once you find out it's true and you continue to project it out into the public, it becomes disinformation and very harmful. So all of that stuff, and one of the main reasons is it affects everybody on this commission. I can't imagine what these 3 commissioners feel. But also, I sit back and think of anyone else that has anything to say up at the podium or among us. How are they going to react and talk? The free will of saying something that someone may dislike. It's a scary situation. It's like taking away your freedom to speak your piece, whether people like it or not. You think different, you might vote different, and that's where it affects our whole county. So I sure hope we get to the bottom of it. Well, let's see, I got a lot of pages, but I want to do a couple things. A few things. My wife says I do 2, and then I end up with 4. All right. Considering the circumstances of what's been happening, and I think I brought this up in the beginning, I think we as officials should consider policies to address the smart use of social media platforms. As for all county workers, because we are public servants. No one can tell us what to say, rate, or what not to say or rate. But I think if we have some training, best practice guidelines, both social media sites, how posts can have negative or positive impact both professionally for us and in our private life. We're living it now. We're living it now, and I just feel strongly. And my self-education, there's a lot of government agencies that have stuff, not to restrict free speech, but just some teachings and some guidelines so we can get along. You gotta remember, it takes 2 to tangle. It takes 1 to disengage that tangle, to make it less harmful. And there's 2 people that can disengage and make it better for everybody. Let me see if I want to mention anything else. I've been thinking of the budget lately, only the fund balance. I was looking if we could get kind of like a roadmap of overview of baselines and goals of where our fund balance is. You know, like where we're at and where we want to be at. Because I looked at the budget, I go through it, but I don't have that concept of, are we good? Are we right where we're supposed to be? Are we above? Are we a little below? Because I know we have a lot of things coming up that's probably going to be tapping that budget a little bit. So no big hurry, but if we can get something, over the next couple of meetings for that.
Our administrator's good at numbers. She might.
Well, I want the whole public to hear it. I don't want just me. And nothing long, a couple of minutes saying, hey, we usually have this much, this is our average. We're up, down, whatever. Just, because the budget is pretty complicated, so if we can make it simplified for everyone, I think, for me, and there may be interest out in the public.
Sorry, I'm not.
No, that's fine. Also, there's a couple unsung heroes out there, and I know everyone deserves accolades at some time, but I think everyone can agree that Corey Schroeder, our maintenance department, and his crew, who works for every department in the county, are our unsung heroes. I just want to say something. I've been visiting them once in a while. I don't stay long, they're busy. But they're the ones that keep this county running for everybody. And I asked him if he could give me some stuff of what he's working on now, but he's too busy. So I thought, well, I'm going to say something anyways. The other thing, I do appreciate everyone's opinions. Everyone that comes up to that podium and speaks. It makes me think, check into other things, what's going on in the public's mind, and what I need to address in how I make my decisions on stuff. I do appreciate, I wish everybody could get up and speak and give us their peace of mind, And lastly, I don't think we're going to have a meeting before Easter, so I wish everyone a happy Easter. Thank you very much.
Same to you, Mr. Field. Mr. Milner,
I'm going to pass.
Mr. Barron.
Yes. I'm struck by the comments tonight that reminds me of a phrase that World War II bomber pilot used. He said, you knew you were over the target when you take flak. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. Margaret Thatcher. No problem can withstand the assault of sustained thinking, Voltaire. Without education, we are in a horrible and deadly danger of taking educated people seriously. G.K. Chesterton. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy?
I just want to mention that, yes, we have Dominion equipment, and At no point is the Dominion equipment connected to the internet, our tabulators. We run those reports. The Board of Canvassers get those reports directly at the end of the night when it's never been hooked up to the internet. And we, like Kay said, we do have paper ballots, and we've done numerous audits and recounts. And to this date, they're very accurate. So if there's issues, they're not here in Delta County.
I just have a question regarding the request for the fund balance, so I don't mind if you kind of come back at me with this one. Do you want the general fund? Do you want all the funds? I
Just
wanna.
generically where our county sits
Okay.
in finances, you know.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
I will
if we're
incorporate
supposed to
all
have
of our-
8 million, you know,
Okay.
I don't need
just wanna
every
make
little.
Yeah, nope, sounds great. I just want to make sure, because a lot of times when people say county, in their head, they're thinking really just the general fund, and I didn't want to give you, because there's a lot of funds, so I just didn't want to.
How strong are we? That's
Okay.
basically what I'm looking for.
Sounds great, that's all. Everyone have a happy Easter and have a great weekend.
I would like to respond to a couple things. I acknowledge the fact that politics has become a full contact event and do it. We're asked for special treatment. In regards to my family, I'd like to thank the Michigan State Police, Escanaba Public Safety, what they're doing. This isn't my first death threat. There's somebody going to go to trial next month for making a false account and telling my ex-wife he came in as a female. That person's going to see justice. I have no problem with that. Reed Hyken never worked for me. I didn't pay the guy. I can't tell a man what to do. He's a buddy of mine. We're friends. And he was going by the Van Hoven building, trying to see if she was living up there. And they got into a fracas. He never set foot on that property. And so she said, yada. That man has never said anything to me that was violence or off-colored. That's fine. I understand people are going to get angry about this stuff. But there's also the other flip side of that coin is that people will take political benefit. I've been accused of that. A couple of rocket scientists said that I was inventing this death threat. I was not, and I'm not trying to take advantage of it. I just want it to go away, and I think that's what we've stepped into. So, there's been a lot of chaos this past year, and I believe it's intended, and I do believe this recall is on political lines. The people will make their choice. All right? But we as individuals have problems if we start throwing away friendships and neighbors over political choice. That's a very deadly slope. And that's not a veiled threat, it's just a fact. We have regular Board of Commissioners meeting on 4/2/24 at 5 PM. We're going to see Dave Xavier. We've been working with him a lot, by the way. A statutory board meeting on 4/9/24 at 5:15 PM right here. We put the kibosh to the meeting on the 16th. We have any 30-day notice of appointments for the data board? Do we have a 30-day notice of appointment for the data board? Have
Yes.
we filled it?
No, this is a notice.
All right. So if you are interested in serving on a board, they go up to, the administration office, or you can get it with you, Nancy? Clerk's office. All right, very good. Save you some steps. Very good. With that, I would need a motion to.
So moved.
By you, by Mulder. Have a good night, guys.